Jeff Drummond knew something was wrong the moment Bank of America alerts started flooding his phone. Someone tried to log into your account. Your password has been changed. He grabbed his phone to call the bank. Call cannot be placed. He tried again. Call cannot be placed. He had no signal at all. By the time he reached a landline and got through to Bank of America, a representative told him something that stopped him cold. They've already withdrawn $21,000 from your account. That was half of Jeff's bank account gone. Not because he clicked a suspicious link, not because he fell for a phone call, not because he did anything wrong at all. Because a criminal had transferred Jeff's phone number to their own device, intercepted every security code the bank sent, and walked straight into his account using the front door. This scam is called SIM swapping. It is not new, but it is growing faster than most people realize. And it works in ways that most people have never had explained to them clearly. The FBI's most recent data showed victims lost more than $68 million to SIM swapping in a single year, 5 times more than the year before, and the number has continued climbing since then. What happened to Jeff can happen to you. What happened to Joanne, a senior whose landline number was ported by a criminal and whose outdated bank account information gave that criminal an opening, resulting in $25,000 vanishing while she slept? Can happen to anyone in your family, including people who would tell you they are too careful to fall for a scam, because this scam does not require you to fall for anything. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly how this scam works at every stage, why your phone number became the master key to your entire financial life without you ever agreeing to that arrangement, and the specific steps you can take today to lock down your accounts before a criminal decides your phone number is worth targeting. Subscribe right now and stay until the end, because the checklist I am going to give you for what to do if this has already happened to you is something nobody else is explaining completely. Let us get into it. Here is what actually happens when a criminal executes a SIM swap attack. Your phone number is not just a way for people to call you. It has become, without most people's full awareness of this happening, the primary identity verification mechanism for almost every important account you have. Your bank sends 2-factor authentication codes to your phone number. Your email account uses your phone number for password resets. Your investment accounts, your retirement accounts, your health insurance portal, your government benefit accounts. Virtually every service that wants to confirm you are who you say you are sends a text message to your phone number as the verification step. This seemed like a security improvement when it was introduced, because it meant a criminal who had your password would still be blocked by not having physical access to your phone. That logic was sound when phone numbers were securely tied to physical SIM cards that stayed in your possession. The vulnerability is that phone numbers are not actually that hard to move. A criminal who has enough of your personal information can call your carrier, claim to be you, claim their phone was lost or damaged, and request that your number be transferred to a SIM card they control. Once that transfer happens, every text message sent to your phone number goes to their device. Every 2-factor authentication code, every password reset link, every banking alert, you no longer receive any of it. And they do. Jeff described exactly this experience. The text message that Bank of America sent to verify the login and the transaction. The code that was supposed to protect his account went to the criminal's phone, not his. The criminal received the code, entered it, and the bank's security system registered the login as authorized. From the bank's perspective, every step of the verification process was followed correctly. The criminal was in, and the money moved before Jeff even knew his phone had no signal. This is why the scam is so devastating and why so many victims have such a difficult time getting their money back. Banks argue with some legal support that the transactions appeared authorized because the security verification was completed. The code was received and entered. The bank system did what it was supposed to do. The failure happened at the carrier level, where the phone number was transferred without adequate verification that the person requesting the transfer was actually the account holder. But pointing to the carrier does not automatically get the victim's money back from the bank, and pointing to the bank does not automatically produce accountability from the carrier. The victim is left in the middle while both institutions explain why the other one is responsible. Joanne's situation adds a layer that is increasingly common and particularly dangerous for older account holders. Her husband had passed away, but his name was still on the bank account. That outdated information gave the criminal a specific angle to exploit. Outdated names on accounts, old phone numbers, old email addresses, all of these represent entry points because the information criminals use to impersonate someone to a bank or a carrier does not have to be current. It just has to match what is on file. If what is on file is outdated, it may be easier for a criminal to match it than it would be to match your current information. Outdated account information is not a minor housekeeping issue. It is a security vulnerability. Now, let us talk about why this scam is so difficult to stop once it is in motion, and why the systems most people assume are protecting them are not protecting them as well as they believe. Carriers are supposed to require identity verification before porting a number. Most major carriers have PIN requirements, account verification processes, and in some cases require in-store verification for number transfers. But these safeguards are inconsistently applied and have been bypassed repeatedly. Social engineering, which is the practice of manipulating customer service representatives through convincing stories and partial information, remains an effective tool. A criminal who knows your name, your address, the last 4 digits of your social security number, and your account phone number can craft a story that sounds plausible to a customer service representative who processes transfer requests routinely. Even when carriers have policies designed to prevent this, the policies require human beings to apply them correctly in every single interaction, and human beings can be persuaded. The banking industry's dependence on SMS-based two-factor authentication has become one of the most significant structural vulnerabilities in consumer financial security. Text message codes were introduced as a second layer of protection, but because they rely on phone numbers rather than physical devices you control, they are susceptible to exactly this kind of attack. Security professionals have been raising this concern for years. The banking industry has been slow to move away from SMS codes because they are convenient and because most customers resist adding friction to their banking experience. But convenience for customers is also convenience for criminals. And SMS codes that can be intercepted through a carrier-level transfer provide far weaker protection than most customers understand them to be providing. So what do you actually do about all of this? Here are the steps that matter. The most impactful single action you can take is to add a port-out PIN to your phone account. Every major carrier offers this, but you have to set it up yourself because it is not enabled by default. Contact your carrier directly, either through their app, their website, or by going into a store, and set up a dedicated PIN that must be provided before any number transfer can be processed. Ideally, add a note to your account that requires in-person verification at a physical store location for any SIM or number change. These two measures together block the vast majority of SIM swap attempts because they require a criminal to either know your specific PIN or physically appear in a store while impersonating you, which is dramatically harder than making a phone call. The second step is to freeze your credit at all 3 major bureaus. Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion all offer free credit freezes that you can set up at their websites. A credit freeze prevents new accounts from being opened in your name without you first lifting the freeze. A criminal who has taken over your phone number may attempt to use that access to open new financial accounts in your name, while they have the authentication capability. A credit freeze closes that avenue. This takes under 5 minutes per bureau and costs nothing. Do it for yourself. Do it for elderly parents. Do it for your children if they are minors, because children's social security numbers are targets for fraud precisely because they are rarely monitored. The third step is to audit and update all of your banking information. Go into your bank accounts right now and verify that the names on the accounts are current, the phone numbers on file are current, and active numbers you actually use, and the email addresses linked to the accounts are ones you actively monitor. Outdated information is not harmless. It is an exploitable gap. Joanne's situation demonstrates this clearly. A deceased spouse's name still on an account combined with old contact information gave criminals a specific profile to impersonate. Keeping your account information current closes those gaps. The fourth step is to move away from SMS text message codes as your primary two-factor authentication method wherever you have the option to do so. Authenticator apps generate codes locally on your device rather than transmitting them via text message because the codes are generated on your physical device rather than sent to a phone number. A SIM swap does not give an attacker access to them. Google Authenticator AI and Microsoft Authenticator are all widely available and free to use. For accounts that support it, hardware security keys provide an even higher level of protection. The transition takes some time and adjustment, but replacing SMS codes with authenticator apps for your most important accounts, your primary bank, your email, your investment accounts removes the specific vulnerability that SIM swapping is designed to exploit. The fifth step is to enable transaction alerts on every financial account you have. Turn on notifications for transfers, withdrawals, login attempts, and new device registrations. The faster you know that something unusual is happening, the faster you can respond. In Jeff's case, the bank alerts arriving on his phone before he lost signal were the first indication something was wrong. If he had not had alerts enabled, he might not have known until he checked his balance days later, by which point significantly more money could have been taken. The sixth step is to have this conversation with the older members of your family. Criminals disproportionately target older account holders because they tend to have accumulated savings. They may not monitor their accounts as frequently as younger people do, and they may have outdated account information that creates exploitable vulnerabilities. A 20-minute conversation with a parent or grandparent that walks them through adding a carrier PIN, enabling transaction alerts, and updating their banking information is genuinely one of the most valuable things you can do for their financial security right now. Now, here is what to do if this scam has already happened to you. Because the steps you take in the first hours matter enormously for your ability to recover funds. The first call you make is to your phone carrier, not your bank. Tell them specifically that your phone number has been ported out without your authorization. Ask them to shut the number down immediately and reassign it back to your SIM card. Ask for a fraud port out letter. Your bank will need this documentation as part of the fraud claim process, and having it ready accelerates everything that follows. While you are waiting for your carrier to act, log into your banking accounts from a device connected to a network other than your compromised phone number. Change your passwords immediately. Change your two-factor authentication method away from SMS if you have not already. Update your contact information and look for any devices listed as authorized on your accounts that you do not recognize. Remove them. Call your bank's fraud department directly, not general customer service. Tell them a port out just occurred on your phone number, that you believe your phone number was used to access your accounts without authorization, and that you need an immediate freeze on all outgoing transfers. Get a case number. Ask for escalation to a senior fraud specialist. Every interaction you have with the bank from this point forward should be documented with times, dates, and the names of the representatives you spoke with. File an FTC identity theft report at identitytheft.gov and file a police report with your local law enforcement. File a report with your state attorney general's office as well. Banks take documentation seriously in the fraud claim review process. A complete documentation package, the carrier's fraud letter, the FTC report, the police report, the screenshots of your account activity, gives the bank what they need to process your claim and gives you the strongest possible position if the claim is initially denied and requires escalation or appeal. Document everything throughout this process. Exact times, exact dollar amounts, every person you speak to, every case number you receive, screenshots of account activity, alert notifications, and any communications related to the fraud. This documentation is both the foundation of your fraud claim and your protection if the situation requires any kind of legal proceeding. SIM swapping works because the infrastructure we have built for financial security, the system of using phone numbers as identity verification, was designed before criminals had perfected the ability to move phone numbers without physical access to the devices attached to them. The gap between the security assumption and the security reality is where billions of dollars are being lost every year by people who had no reason to know the gap existed. You now know it exists. The carrier PIN, the credit freeze, the account update, the authenticator app, the transaction alerts. All of these close specific gaps, none of them require technical expertise. All of them can be done today. Share this video with someone you care about, especially if they are older and may not know this vulnerability exists. The more people understand how this works, the harder it becomes for the criminals running these operations to find their next target. We will see you in the next